So you want to have a garden this year. You know the first thing that you need to do is till your land so you can plant your vegetables, but you don't have a tiller. Nor do you have the $750 to $1,200 required to buy a tiller. Well, your neighbor tells you that you can rent a tiller from Sunbelt Rentals or some other company that rents power tools. You go online, you find out it's true, but it costs $120 a day and there's a 3-week wait. Well, I'm going to show you how to save that $120 a day, and more importantly, save yourself 3 weeks worth of time, how you can go out and till your land without a tiller using a shovel. It's a method called the double dig gardening method. It was used for many centuries before gasoline powered engines were even invented. So there are several benefits to it. It's a simple method, but it's not easy because it requires some work. But that's what homesteading's all about too, right? Getting a workout while you're growing and raising your own food. So what you do, and I've gone ahead and started today to get you to a point to where I can show you this quickly without wasting 45 minutes of your time showing me actually doing it. This is a method that will allow you to rotate your soil each year as you do this, so that you're kind of doing crop rotation farming at a faster pace. So the first thing you do, and I've already done it here, this is my first row, is you dig your first row that you're going to plant your vegetables in. Now as you take the soil out of your first row, you want to throw it off to the side on a tarpaulin close to where you are going to have your third row, or your fourth or your fifth, whatever your last row is going to be. I'm going to end up having about 5 rows here, and they're going to be 20 feet long. I've made these 6 feet long just for example purposes for this video, because the soil from your first hole is going to be used to fill in your last hole. Okay, now let's go back up here to our second hole. Now after you've removed the top layer of soil, you're going to be down about a shovel length's depth, or the spade, the head part, you're going to be down about that deep. You're not finished yet. What you want to do is you want to go in here and loosen up this soil. Let's make sure to give them a close look, honey, of the shovel. I'm just going in here and jumping around on my shovel to loosen up this soil. Now this particular garden plot has been plowed with a tractor for decades. I know this from talking to the 80-some-year-old woman that we bought the land off of. Now one of the disadvantages to using a tractor or even a tiller is that beneath your top 8 inches or so that you plow up or till up, over the years the weight of your tractor or your tiller will actually compact that soil down to where it gets so hard, once your vegetable roots hit that secondary layer of soil, they just stop and they start going sideways, and the growth of your plant is stunted, and it's not going to produce the fruit or the vegetables that it could if the roots had more space to grow. So let's say this is your first hole. You've removed your top layer of soil, it's on the tarp. You've gone through, you've loosened up that secondary layer of soil so your roots have more growth room. Then what do? Well, you simply come down to where you're going to have your next row, and you start the process over again. Now as you take soil out of the next hole, you just simply fill in the hole you just dug. It is this simple. Again, simple, not necessarily easy. Just go like that. Now I don't think it's hard. I do this kind of stuff all the time. Okay, and so what I'll do is I will go, like I said, eventually 20 feet in length on these rows. This wire is 25 feet apart. This is giving us 2.5 feet on each side to walk, so we don't have to walk in the rows of our vegetables. And you want to make sure that between the rows you have enough space to walk comfortably. And as your vegetables come up, you can weed in between the rows, or you can choose not to. It's up to you. Okay, we have an acronym we use. It's KISS, K-I-S-S. Not the rock band, though I like them. But it's an acronym that stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. And we try to keep everything as simple as possible, and we try not to do any unnecessary work. Now, here's another benefit to this. As I'm throwing the dirt in this hole, I can come over here and I can go ahead and take out weeds. I can take out roots from trees, okay, and just get them out of here right now so they're not going to be a problem later. Another advantage to this sort of farming is when you're using a tiller or a tractor, you're chopping up and crushing up everything, including the earthworms, which are greatly needed to break down the leaves, the vegetation, the weed you pull. They're part of the process. And look at this. Here's a nice healthy worm. Didn't even hurt it, and you saw that. I just dug this sucker up. Sure, I'll chop a couple, you know, but most of them are going to be healthy and they're going to remain in my soil to help with the whole gardening process. So now as you dig the soil from one hole, you put it in the next. You can break down the clumps with your hand. Make sure to wear gloves. You might have owned your land for 20 years, but you don't know who did before, and they might have buried glass in here. You know, back during the Great Depression days, that was a common way in the U.S. People got rid of trash they couldn't burn, like glass. They'd bury it somewhere. Your garden spot might be where maybe bootleggers were burying their liquor bottles back in the 1920s during Prohibition. So wear your gloves, okay? So then what I'll do is I'll simply continue this process. I'll get this row dug, filling in the previous row with the topsoil, and then as I showed you in that hole, I will use my shovel to go down and break up the secondary layer so my roots can penetrate the soil deeper, grow better. I'll do another row, and then I'll use my topsoil from the first row to fill in that last hole, okay? And now next year, when you do this, it's going to be even easier because your soil's already loose. So this is how you do double digging gardening, to till your soil without having a tiller, to start your vegetable garden without getting on a 3-week-long wait list at Sun Rental. If you learned something from this video and you enjoy our content, please subscribe to our channel, Homesteading Off the Grid.